Hi everyone, this is Dale C. Washington of Greater Works Prophetic Ministry and Raw. That's Remnant Anointed Warriors. Today's date is February the 11th of 2020. How is everyone doing this evening? I hope everyone is doing well on this beautiful day. I uploaded a test video earlier today, and I know a few of you guys have seen that and responded. Thank you so much for your kind words. But I'm back this evening to do a very difficult assignment. This has been a long time coming, and I've really been really just at the feet of Jesus with this, and just in his presence, and this has been difficult, and this is going to be difficult, but nevertheless there's only one way to do this, and that is to do it. The title of the message is Whitney Houston's Bed, Bath, and Beyond. Whitney Houston's Bed, Bath, and Beyond. Okay? This is God's tell-all. Okay? Everybody else is doing a tell-all. Everybody else got a tell-all about Whitney. And a lot of what's out there is tell-all lies. Okay? And God wants to set the record straight concerning Whitney Houston. And he's going to set some record straights concerning some other things as well. This is God's work, and I am his handmaiden. Okay? Now I want to add that I don't know how long this video is going to be. This has been one of the hardest videos messages I've ever had to prepare for. I do, however, have very difficult messages already that I have not released yet, and I just didn't work to release them, and they are probably almost as difficult as this one, but I think this one is the most difficult assignment God has given me, the most involved. I could not get myself together with the information that God was revealing to me, the amount of information. I prayed and I've cried. I prayed and I cried, as the song says. There are times when, when God would speak to me on and off, I would always grab a pen and paper and write what I'm hearing. But when it came time to actually type the message, I don't understand why it was like I just couldn't bring myself to type. I have probably 2 folders of notes from God speaking, and him telling me to research and look things up. Notes from dreams and visions, interpretations of what God revealed to me about the dreams and visions concerning this matter, concerning Whitney Houston. A lot of things he spoke to me, a lot of things came through dreams and visions. Okay? And so, again, I'm back this evening to do God's tell-all. Okay? God has eyes. He sees. He sits high and he sees low. Okay? So put your seatbelts on. Let's ride. Let's go. Okay? As I said, there's only one way to do this. Okay, I want to say this first. I know some of you guys are like, come on, get into the message, but I'm so messed up over this word right here, over this revelation, over what God has been dealing with me about for a long time, until I don't know how this video is going to come out. I don't know how long it's going to be. I don't know if I'm going to go fast. I don't know if I'm going to go slow. I don't know where I'm going to end this video. So first thing I want to say is I don't think this is going to be a polished message. Okay? If I stumble over my words, forgive me. If I repeat myself, forgive me. If I may have to press pause a few times. It'll be okay. Okay? Forgive me, please. May have to take a sip of tea. Okay? Some may not understand me. Forgive me. Some things will be clearer than others. A few things may be coded. And if you don't believe me, it's okay. Pray. Okay? Just pray. I'm going to try, and I'm not even sure if this is going to be a part 1, part 2. I was trying to avoid doing a part 1, part 2. I wanted to try to do this whole message with this massive amount of information the Lord gave me. I wanted to do it in one video because I wanted to release this. I wanted to release the heaviness, the weight of carrying this message. This message is very heavy. It is very weighty. It is very revelatory. It is very explosive, some of the things that God spoke to me and revealed to me. And so I didn't want to do a part 1, part 2. I wanted to try to just do this in one video and get it over with. And I wanted the people who view the video to just take your time and watch the whole video. So I'm still not sure if I get flustered or just, I don't know, I may just end it and then come back and do a part 2. But I'm going to try to get in today as much as possible. Okay? So for those that don't know me, again, my name is Dale C. Washington. The C is for Sharice. And I prophesy through dreams and visions, and I prophesy by the word of the Lord also that is spoken from his mouth. Okay. If you hear me breathing heavy, forgive me. As I said earlier when I did the test video, this is new to me, this way of recording, so I have on some headphones here. Okay. So, a little bit of information before I get into the dream I'm going to share with you guys. When Whitney Houston passed away in 2012, I was not following her music career at that time. I followed her and I liked her music, before I got saved. But I've been saved I got saved probably around 1994. Okay. I was in the church when Whitney Houston passed away. I was in church and I was doing the usual things that church people do. So I remember standing in front of the TV on the day that they announced her death. And I cried out in shock and disbelief. Just like one would do upon hearing of the death of a close relative or a loved one. I mourned her death just as if she was a family member, just like many of you probably did as well. Okay? The grieving process was not a fly-by-night thing for me either. And I kind of experienced this with a few other people that have passed, because something happened in my spirit when Whitney Houston died the way she died. And there are people who died before her and after her, well, maybe one person before her, a few people after her that passed away, and something happened to my spirit. God grabbed my spirit and spoke to my spirit about a few people's passing that just grabbed me. Okay, people who I was not necessarily a fan, people who I was not following and paying attention to. Okay, so also it doesn't even feel like it's been 7 years. I think it's today 8 years, February 11th, 2020, 8 years since she passed. It doesn't even feel like it's been that long. Okay, so the dream I'm going to share with you guys today, I received this dream on September 16th of 2019. This dream, okay? I had this dream a little while after an incident was reported that Bobby Brown had been hit by a car. I believe that someone first mentioned the incident to me in August of 2019. So someone told me about it, and I was like, they said, well, he got hit by a car. I said, oh my God, here goes another one. And then I found out later, someone said, well, Bobby Brown's sister had released the report, but then I think it was changed and said, or someone said it wasn't true. And I just said, I didn't pay any attention to the whole thing when I heard about it. I said, that just doesn't make any sense to me. I said, his sister was probably telling the truth. I said, but the whole thing doesn't make sense to me. I never looked it up. I never read it. I never Googled it or anything. So lo and behold, as I said, September 16, 2019, God gave me this dream, and I'm mentioning this because Bobby Brown is a part of the beginning of this dream, okay? Okay, I want y'all to know that I did not ask God for this. I didn't ask God for this dream. I didn't ask God to show me this. I didn't ask God for this information, okay? I bring to you today no conspiracy theories, okay? No conspiracy theories. This is the work of the Lord Yahweh. Very briefly, I operate in Daniel chapter 5, verse 12. And when I say that, I say that kind of lightly. I know that I'm gifted in that area, but the Lord is still teaching me about that particular way in which He used Daniel in that gift. So I have the scripture here. It is Daniel chapter 5 verse 12, and I have the amplified version. It says, because an excellent spirit, knowledge and understanding to interpret dreams, clarify riddles. I do some of clarifying riddles. Okay, so it says, because an excellent spirit, knowledge and understanding to interpret dreams, clarify riddles, and solve knotty problems were found in this same Daniel, whom the king named Belshazzar. Now let Daniel be called, and he will show the interpretation, okay? And I seek God for interpretation. Interpretation, the Bible says, comes from God. That's where I get my interpretation from. I want y'all to know also very briefly, God teaches me how to clarify the riddles. He teaches me how to solve knotty problems, crafty sentences. A lot of people are very crafty with their words, and I can go in and I can decode what they're really saying behind what you're hearing them say. Okay, so it says, Daniel, let them call Daniel. Daniel will show the interpretation. Okay, again, interpretation comes from the Lord. Okay, so there was something I wanted to add to that, and I lost my train of thought, but hopefully it may come back to me. Okay, about dream. Okay, I know what I wanted to tell you guys. I want you guys to know the gift of interpreting dreams, which I could still call it a gift, although interpretation of dreams comes from the Lord. There is also a skill set that comes along with the interpretation of dreams. The Lord teaches the skill set, though. So the way He teaches me how to clarify riddles, solve knotty problems, and figure out symbols in the dreams and the visions He sends me, He may teach somebody else in a different way. Okay, so and He may teach some of His people in similar ways or some of the same ways. But I found out that there is also a skill set that God can teach you on how to interpret a dream, but you still have to do it through and by the Holy Spirit. You still have to be led of the Spirit, even in the skill set of interpreting dreams. And a lot of times, like this dream I had since September of 2019, and okay, look, I'm just now releasing it February 2020. A lot of times when I have certain dreams, I don't release them right away because I don't already have the understanding of the dream, okay? I don't always know right away what that dream means if it came with a lot of hidden messages and symbols and riddles and stuff that I have to solve. So what I'll do is I can upload dreams and share dreams with you guys as soon as I have them and just tell you a little bit that I know. But I try to wait until I have more of an understanding or more of an interpretation from the Lord before I upload a dream, because I don't like to upload dreams, to tell you the truth, or to be honest, I don't like to just share dreams without the interpretation, because I have that gift. I know how to pull on God. I know how to go in the deep places of the Spirit of God and get in His presence and get that interpretation from Him. And He likes for His children to seek Him and to pull on Him and to look for Him. Okay? So let me go a little bit further. Okay, so I have here, the Lord started sending dreams concerning to me concerning Michael Jackson in 2018, and I didn't understand what these dreams were about. And as I began to seek God for interpretation, I saw that the dreams were about Michael Jackson and Whitney Houston. Okay, stuff about Whitney Houston was in these dreams, and other people I began to see encoded in the dreams that blew my mind, and it scared me. And I was like, oh my God, why am I seeing these other people in the dream you sent concerning Michael Jackson? So this has started since 2018, but with like I said, the dream I'm going to share today, that was in September of 2019. Okay, I'm going to tell you about a little bit about a message I released concerning California, and everything I'm telling you is relevant to this message. Okay. And I'm going backwards a little bit with this information right here, but I released a video warning California a little while ago, or a while ago, and that said, in that video I said, some will die in the fire. I made that statement, and the Lord is the one that said it. He says, some concerning California, some will die in the fire, some will die in the flood. Okay. What I didn't do when I released that video, I did not release to the public why God spoke that to me at that time. So what happened was this, and I believe that statement was in 2018. Oh wow, my screen went out here. Okay, what happened was God, me and a family member, we were talking, and we were having a conversation about Michael Jackson and Whitney Houston, and I think at that time God had already started sending the dreams about Michael Jackson. So we were having a conversation, and the family member that I was talking with said, they said, it's a shame what happened to Michael Jackson and Whitney Houston. And immediately when that statement was made, immediately I heard the Lord speak, and He said, some will die in the fire, some will die in the flood. And I was like, whoa, wait a minute. So I knew that meant judgment. When God spoke that, I knew that meant judgment upon California. But this is what God had let me know when He made that statement. He let me know that when He said some will die in the fire, that represented what was done to Michael Jackson. I'm going to explain that. When He said some will die in the flood, that represent what happened to Whitney, the way her body was found in that tub of water. Okay? Although the drowning is not what killed her. Her body being submerged in that water was not what killed her. But that's where the body was found. That's where they reported the body was found. So that's the flood. That's the judgment of the flood. Why is California coming up under this judgment? California is coming up under this judgment for other things, other sacrifices, other blood sacrifices that I've already mentioned and released in a video. California is under judgment for these deaths that I'm discussing today, California is under judgment for a lot of things, a lot of people's death. Mainly, like I said in the other video, blood sacrifices. It's a very wicked place. California is not the only place, but that is the place that God told me to release that word for. Okay, when God said some will die in the fire, and I said that represented Michael Jackson, when I immediately thought, I was like, wait a minute, Michael Jackson didn't die in the fire. And the Lord let me know, well, yes, he did. Yes, he did. God took me back to when Michael Jackson was filming the commercial for Pepsi, and the pyrotechnics burned his head very, very badly, and he was burned. God said that day he died because he was never the same. So we know that later he was overdosed on this drug. But God said some will die in the fire, some will die in the flood. The day that the pyrotechnics, which was not an accident but reported as an accident, burned his head like that, Michael Jackson, in many ways, died that day. He was never the same, okay? Y'all gonna have to catch what I'm saying. I don't want to over-explain because I got so much information to cover, and I need to try to keep moving, okay? I'm not worried about people who don't agree with me. I know what God told me. I know the voice of the Lord. I'm sorry if you don't agree. That's fine. Okay, so who is Michael and Whitney that God would speak the judgment against California in the midst of a conversation that me and a family member were having concerning Michael and Whitney's death? Wow. Who is Michael and Whitney to God? All right? Michael Jackson and Whitney Houston were both beloved of God. Okay? And I'm going to talk a little bit more, especially about Whitney. Okay? But as I said, for those out there that want to get crazy coming on my video making stupid comments, I did not say California is under judgment because of nobody but Michael and Whitney. I'm not going to repeat that. I've already explained that. But they're under judgment. Why would they be under judgment for other deaths, but also Michael and Whitney's death? I kind of already touched on that. Okay, there's a cover up involved here. There was a cover up. Okay, God is holding people accountable. God is holding officials and people who have titles and positions who should be setting examples, should be doing things the right way. God is holding all of us accountable for our actions. Okay? So California probably was already under God's judgment a very long time ago. I really don't know the history and how long. Okay, let's look at John. I have a scripture here. I said that Michael and Whitney were both beloved of God. I have a scripture, John 10:16. This is one of the scriptures God gave me concerning Whitney Houston. And also, I want you guys to know I've had this picture here up for a while, and I'm going to be just clicking through some other pictures and stuff, and I hope you can see the screen pretty good. And so I'm also going to be, going over the message, but also I'm going to be pulling up some pictures as well. Okay, so that's really going to cause this video to be even longer, but that's okay. I have to do this. I've received my charge from the Lord to do this. Okay, so Jesus said in John 10:16, he said, I have other sheep that are not of this fold. Do y'all know that scripture God keeps stirring that scripture. He keeps bringing that scripture to me concerning not just Michael and Whitney, but some other people that you don't see in what we call that church building. he said, I have other sheep that are not of this fold. I never understood what that scripture really meant. Okay. I always wondered about that scripture, especially after I first got saved and I used to read it. Something about it used to nag at me, but I never really fully understood what that meant. But that is the scripture God keeps speaking to me concerning people like Michael, Whitney. I can name some other people, but a few of them God gave me a word about, and I'm not going to exactly reveal who they are, but there's some people that that didn't cut their teeth on the back of a church's pew, but they belong to God. Okay, they're His, and He knows those that are His, and He knows how to rescue them. Okay, verse 14 says, I am the good shepherd, and know my sheep, and am known of mine. Verse 15, as the Father knoweth me, even so I know the Father, and I lay down my life for the sheep. And other sheep I have which are not of this fold. Them also I must bring, or I must bring and impel those also. Impel means to compel. Same thing as compel. Okay, so them also I must bring, and they shall hear my voice, and there shall be one fold and one shepherd. Okay. Also, another scripture keeps coming to me where God says, I will have mercy on whomsoever I will have mercy. I'm kind of paraphrasing, and I don't really have time to get into the mercy of God and how it relates to people in show business. There are some people in show business, and there are some people in Hollywood. Not all of them, but a few. There are some people in the entertainment business who, and some of them were put in this life as children. Do you not know that when you put a child in this type of world, in that type of system where these horrible things happen to them, but they were put in as a child, they were groomed, and those children were not responsible for where their parents put them and what happened to them. Those children are not responsible for the deals that were done. Those children are not responsible for being groomed for that lifestyle, but God knows how to come to them and reach them. And there are some that God has come to and knocked on the door of their heart. So just be careful how you judge people. And I'm not here to be an advocate for the weird and the sinful and the wicked stuff that goes on in show business in Hollywood, because I happen to believe that the majority of them are down with the worst of the worst, or down with the sacrifices, and down with whatever they got to do, selling their soul, making the money, doing those deals. Maybe, I don't know if it's the majority, but I believe a lot of them do. I'm only going to be sharing messages about the few that God has given me, the few that He reached out to, the few that people are lying on, the few that have these very strange, suspicious deaths. Some of these people were put in this as children, and they were under contract, and there was basically no way out for some of them except through death. Okay? All right, now let's get into the dream. I'm sorry that if that took so long. Okay, I'm going to try to move faster. Okay, the dream. The beginning of the dream seems like, at the very beginning of the dream, it seems like I had already seen Whitney Houston somewhere before I got to the first part of the dream that I'm going to share with y'all. And that never came back to me clearly. But it seemed like I was somewhere and had seen Whitney Houston somewhere before the first scene of the dream started. I apologize if I am too loud. I don't know. I can't tell the volume of the mic. Okay, so let me see if I can set the first scene of this dream up for you guys. Like I said, I have a lot of pictures And okay, so well, I'm just going to be going through a few pictures here. But anyway, let's see here. Okay, so that is not the picture I'm looking for, and I'm going to get into this in a moment. I hope you guys can see this. Okay. Let's see what comes next. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to have this right here for a moment. Nope, not that one. Okay. Okay, I know you guys are like, what in the world is she doing? Okay, I'm going to find my other picture in a moment. I saw Whitney Houston at the beginning of the dream. I saw Whitney Houston in a hospital bed. Okay, Bobby Brown was in the room, standing in front of the bed near the door. Would have been in this area over here, if y'all can see the mouse. Okay, so Bobby Brown was in the room, standing in front of the bed near the door. A mysterious woman was standing in front of Bobby Brown. She was standing in between the door and Bobby Brown. Okay, so bear with me, and I'm going to see if I can find another picture. One moment. That shows, because I really had a hard time trying to find the picture that looked exactly like it was in my dream, of course. But I found the closest thing to it that I could find. So bear with me. I'm going to find that picture. Okay, that's the same picture. Hold on a second. Let's just go through some pictures here. Okay. Okay, those are not the ones either. Let me try another section. But the picture that I just showed you guys, that one was pretty close. That one was pretty close to sort of what I had seen in the dream. Okay, so one second. Okay, let me try another folder. Okay, I'm still here, guys. I don't think it's in there. Let me check this folder right here. Okay, I'm here. Okay, so I keep coming back to the same picture, but there's another picture. Hold on, let's see what I have here. Okay. Let's go through these pictures. I have so many pictures that I saved, and I know I'm not going to go through all of these pictures. Hold on a second. Let me see what that one was. Oh. Okay, I'm going to pause this for a brief second, and I'm going to see if I can find that picture. One moment. Hi, I am back. I had to pause for a second. I do apologize. I had to find those pictures. I really need to show you guys the pictures that look pretty close to what I saw in my dream. Now this one is pretty close up. So it wasn't as close up as this bed right here in the door. If you can see this, and I have one more picture after this one to show you, but I saw Whitney Houston like laying in a bed, like flat on her back. And in this area, coming toward the door, was Bobby Brown, and then a mystery woman standing here in this area that Bobby Brown was talking to. Okay, so let me go, and I think I did find one of the other pictures. One moment. Okay, here's another one. So not this part over here with the bathroom. I meant to crop that and forgot to do it. But this section right here, where the bed is and this door, looks more closely like what I saw. I didn't see a food tray there, but Whitney Houston was laying in the bed flat. She appeared to be, it looked like she could have been dead and already, but she was motionless. There was no movement. She was just laying there. Bobby Brown was standing here, and the lady he was talking to was standing right behind him. Okay, so I'm going to leave that there for a moment. Okay, so when I saw Whitney laying in the hospital bed, she was very still. There was no movement, as if she was dead, just laying on her back. All throughout the dream, all throughout this dream, it felt like I was in a hospital room / hotel room. It felt like I was in both. It felt like both, but the part where I saw Whitney in the hospital bed looked more like a hospital room. Okay? At this point in the dream, I heard Bobby Brown say to the woman standing in front of him, this is what he said. He said, "When I die, I can see your music rising." Okay? So let me see if I can find a picture for that I found that really fits. You guys bear with me. I'm kind of slow at clicking around on all these pictures. I want y'all to see this picture right here. Bobby Brown said to the woman, "When I die, I can see your music rising." Okay, so I remember when I woke up, I kept thinking how poetic it sounded when Bobby Brown said that. And I wanted to hurry up and release the video, because I thought in the beginning that this dream was only about Bobby Brown. I didn't realize all of the other things that God was going to reveal to me about what this dream truly was about. Bobby Brown was really only in the first part of the dream. Okay, and I'm not saying that Bobby Brown was there when Whitney died in real life. That is not what I am saying. I don't know where Bobby Brown was when Whitney Houston passed away. I think he was doing a concert somewhere in another state. Okay, I'm showing you what I saw in my dream. Okay, so I couldn't release the dream at that time, but I wanted to. And when I found out it wasn't just about Bobby, and I had to find out, what all God was speaking, so it took me a while. So as it turns out, when Bobby said, "When I die, I can see your music rising," that's a riddle. Okay, so the next part of the dream, right after Bobby Brown said what he said to the mystery woman, I was now in another room. It felt like I could have been in a room right outside of the room where Bobby and Whitney was when she was in that hospital bed, but I'm really not sure. So I have to try to find that picture. Okay, so of where it just looked like the scene changed and I ended up being in another room. Okay. 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 That's Bobby Brown. Okay. So that's not it. Let me see if I can find it. Okay, let's see. Let's try this one again. Okay, I think I may be able to find something similar of the other room that I was in. One moment. Okay, so definitely not that one with the double beds. Not that one. Hold on. Okay, not exactly like this, but similar. That chair, there was a chair by the bed. Here's another one. It didn't have that. Of course, I'm not going to find the exact picture. I'm going to kind of start here. I would have been in another room, standing in over here. That lamp, it wasn't there. It would have been a wall light on the wall. There was a chair there, however, and someone was sitting in the chair. Okay. Here's another picture. So the chair's on the opposite side. That's not a good picture. Here's another one. That's not a good picture. But just to give you kind of an idea. Okay. So this scene would have been over there with the chair. So I would have been standing in here. There was a broken wall light on the wall in my dream. Someone was sitting in the chair. When I got in that part of the dream, I did not see this full bed. It was like I knew I was standing by the very edge of a bed by this thing here. This broken, it was in the dream, it was a broken wall light. Okay, someone was sitting here. A lady was sitting there. Okay, hold on a second. Okay, it would have been like this. I don't know if you guys can see this. Let me see. Okay, so I would have been in here. A lady sitting in that chair. And this seems like, this is right like how I appeared in this area, right after the scene from where Bobby Brown was standing in the door of the room talking to a mystery lady while Whitney was laying in a hospital bed. So this is another picture that's similar. Not that. Okay, I got all these pictures. Okay, so let me go back. Okay, so let's use this one for, well, no, let's go back to the one with the wall light. Not that one. Okay, let's try this one, because I'm not going to be able to find all these pictures that I have in the folders anyway. Okay, so let's see. So I found myself in another room. I'm really not sure how that was, it's like I just, the scene changed. Okay. In this room, I found myself standing by a wall looking up at what appeared to be a broken wall light. There was no light. See that light there in the dream? That wasn't there. There was absolutely no light attached to that part of the fixture, the base. Okay, there was no light attached to this wall light. It was only the back or the base of the wall light, and it was leaning off the wall in such a way that it looked as if it was about to hit me in the head at any moment. So the part that was on the wall, minus that light, it was leaning. It was attached and it was hanging very loosely by a loose screw. Okay? Very loosely hanging by a loose screw. The base of the wall light was hanging dangerously off the wall. And remember, I knew I was standing like near the edge of a bed. I never saw the whole bed. I never saw anybody in the bed, but a lady was sitting in that chair right there, and I'll get more into that. To the right of me, was a bed. That would have been to my right. At this point, I did not have a view of the bed. Okay, like I said. So the lady that was sitting in this chair, I'm going to call her the first lady. To the left side of me was a woman sitting in a chair that was by the bed, and she was also sitting next to the broken wall light fixture that has no light. Or she was sitting next to the base of the light fixture. This particular woman has the name, listen to this, the woman that was sitting in that chair has the name Neiman Marcus encoded into her identity. Okay? whoever the woman was sitting in that chair. Neiman Marcus was encoded into her identity. This is how God showed me in the dream. Now, I don't know who went to Neiman Marcus. I've heard so many conflicting reports and read so many conflicting reports. I don't know who. I don't know if Pat was in Neiman Marcus. I don't know if Mary was in Neiman Marcus. All I know is I saw a woman sitting in this chair who had Neiman Marcus encoded into her identity. Okay. Now, the second lady that's going to be, there was a second lady in the dream. Okay. Neiman Marcus has a symbol interpretation. Neiman Marcus means evil man marked us. It means an evil man marked them. Okay. So, yeah. Beyond this point, that was not a window or a curtain or a wall. That beyond that point was another area altogether where I saw the second lady sitting. And I don't know how I'm going to be able to find that picture for you guys. Let me check this folder here. Okay, see if I can find something close to kind of show you guys where the second lady was sitting in my dream. Okay, well, that's not a good picture, not that one. Okay, one moment. Anyway, the second lady, she would have been to the very far left of me. She would have been like going all together in another section. It wasn't, in the same room. It's like the room began to turn into another section altogether. Okay, not that one. And I would describe it as she was sitting beyond where me and the first lady was at by the broken wall light that was on the wall. She would have been like way beyond that point, but she was still within my view with that. Okay. So I can't find the picture that I need. And I knew when I put all these pictures in the folder, I'm like, there is no way I'm going to be able to remember where I put all these pictures in all of these folders. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to pull up a picture. Let's see here. Okay, bear with me. Okay, I keep coming back to that one. Okay. Still here, guys. One moment. I've got the picture saved that I'm looking for, but it's difficult to find it. It's difficult. Okay, so, okay. That's not the one either. Okay, so I'm going to leave this here. Beyond this point, way back that way, was like this room was leading into, it reminded me of a corridor. Okay, so the second lady was sitting beyond the room from where me and the first lady was. She was quietly sitting in another section or another area of this place that I was in, but she was also in full view of where I was standing. Okay, and I think she could see me as well, but she wasn't paying me any attention. Okay, this lady appeared to be someone who worked for the establishment that I was in during the dream. It felt like I was in an establishment. Remember, I said it felt like I was in a hospital room / hotel room. Okay, so the lady was sitting off a distance, but Okay, still in view. Standing by the bed, where I was standing by the bed in the light fixture on the wall, and the other person was sitting in a chair near me. Okay, that was the first lady. Okay, guys, I got mixed up in my notes. Please forgive me. Okay, so when I saw the other lady sitting off a distance, beyond the point that I was with the first lady, and when I saw the broken wall light, no light was there, no light was attached. It was leaning off the wall, hanging by a loose screw. I stood there and I was gazing at the broken light fixture that was about to hit me in the head, and I whispered something to the person sitting in the chair, the first lady. I whispered, they need to fix that. For some reason, I did not want the other lady that was sitting beyond that point where we were at. She was sitting off in a distance. For some reason, I didn't want her to hear what I was saying to the first lady that was sitting by me, right beside that broken wall light. And this is what I'm going to share my thoughts with you guys in the dream. My thoughts in the dream, as I was looking at the broken light fixture, and pay attention to some of the words I speak. Broken light fixture. Okay, pay attention to that. So I'm using all of these different names for the broken wall light interchangeably because they are all part of the interpretation. So you'll hear me calling it a broken light fixture, the base of the wall light, and you might hear me calling it in different terms. So I stood there thinking, as I was looking up at the base of the wall light, I said, this is dangerous. It looked as if it was about to fall and hit me in the head at any moment. I know I didn't say that repeatedly. Okay, I was thinking this was so unprofessional. I was thinking this was negligent. It was suspect. I knew that whatever had happened to Whitney, that there was someone who saw and knew exactly what had happened to Whitney. And I mostly remember when I first woke up thinking that particular thought. I began to realize that the dream I had, as I began to think about the dream, I began to realize and that I was in a hotel room / hospital room, but also a hotel room. Somehow God took the two and intertwined them in my dream. Okay, the base of the wall light was that I was looking at, that was on the wall, was square and gold. It was kind of big, okay? And you guys bear with me because I definitely have to find the picture to show you guys how that go back to show you just the base of the wall light. So I am, however, able to find these pictures. Okay, so we're not going to use that one. Okay, see that? I kind of cropped that light off a little bit. This is the base. It's square. What I saw was hanging on the wall. It was hanging off the wall on a loop by a loose screw. No light was there. Can y'all see that? No light would have been there. Just this flat square piece. And this is all means something, guys. I'm going to tell y'all. This is another one. I don't know if you can see that one. I don't know if you can see this. This is square gold right here. That's the base. That was not there. No light was attached at all. Okay, here's another one. Can y'all see that? It looked like this, a smooth square gold piece. No light was there. Hanging off. One screw was here, hanging loosely. So I think y'all get the picture of what I'm talking about. Here's one where I cropped off the light a little bit right here. Okay, let's see what else I got. Okay. Okay, so I'm going to let that stay right there for a moment so I can get back to telling y'all what I saw. So at first, I didn't really know what to call it. I also called that a backboard, base of a wall light, some sort of light fixture, a broken light fixture with no light. Then I mostly settled on calling it just the base. Okay. It appeared to be a broken wall light with no light. It had no light attached to the base. The wall light was leaning off the wall by a loose screw. Okay. Also, part of what God allowed me to know, and I think I'm getting ahead of the interpretation, was whatever was going on with that room and the wall. There was also a cleaning up in that area that I told you guys I was standing by in the dream. There was a cleaning up, and there was a changing going on, like, I don't know, maybe a changing of clothes. I'm getting ahead of myself, but very strange. I don't know why they have pictures online of Whitney Houston's clothes she had on at that party, that club, the last time she was seen in public. Appeared to be the black dress and the clothes she wore when she was out at the club before she passed away. So, and then Whitney, of course, you know, the way she was found in the bathtub. But why was her black dress hanging on the balcony? Why was Whitney's clothes hanging on a balcony? I would think that someone would have hung them out there to dry. Okay? So, anyway. So there was definitely in that area that I ended up being in with the broken wall light hanging off the wall, some cleaning going on in that area. I mean, probably, I'm not saying the whole hotel room wasn't being cleaned, but definitely in the area by that wall, by that particular bed. Okay, so when I awoke, I tried to make sense of what I had just seen. And right away, I came to the conclusion that, I'm going back to Bobby Brown, I came to the conclusion that Bobby Brown was standing in between the living and the dead. Okay? The way that Bobby Brown was positioned, Whitney Houston would have been here in this bed. Bobby Brown would have been standing here, and the mystery woman was standing on the other side by him. So Bobby Brown was standing in between the living and the dead. Okay, I'm sharing with you guys how God gave me this dream and the things He revealed to me. And please bear with me. I'm not a professional video maker. I don't like making videos, and I have a lot of information. Okay. Okay, I wondered why in the world am I seeing, when I woke up, I was wondering why in the world am I seeing Whitney Houston in a hospital bed with Bobby Brown in the room, and Whitney is already dead. Okay, that's what I'm thinking when I woke up, because in real life she's dead. Why am I seeing this? So I don't know anything about Whitney Houston being in a hospital before she died. Okay, I don't know anything about that, because the dream felt like, I already told y'all I was in a hospital room, in a hotel room, and I wondered, this is what I wondered, because of the way the scene in my dream was set up, I wonder if there was some kind of hospital or medical practice that was set up in the Beverly Hilton Hotel where Whitney died at. And so I was like, well, I'm not going to be able to really find that out. How am I going to find that out? So I was like wondering, was there like a makeshift hospital clinic for emergencies set up in the Beverly Hilton where Whitney was at? Okay. I wondered if someone had, okay, hold on one moment. So if someone had set something up in Whitney's hotel room, I also wonder if someone had set something up in Whitney Houston's hotel room to perform a medical procedure on her, and something may have went wrong, which led to her death. I'm telling y'all what I was wondering when I woke up from the dream, okay? These are some of the thoughts that bombarded my mind after I had woken up from this dream, as I tried to understand why I had seen what I saw. So let me talk about that broken wall light that was hanging on that wall. No light was there, about to hit me. It was hanging in a way, and I was close enough to it to where it appeared that it was about to hit me in the head. So let's go back to one of the lights. Okay, and I'm going to tell you some thoughts that I had about that. Okay, so, okay, there's a screw right there. I don't know if you guys can see that. And that would have been loose. This thing would have been hanging. Okay? Very loosely. So the wall light that was leaning and hanging off the wall reminded me of Michael Jackson and the time when his head caught on fire due to the pyrotechnics during filming for a Pepsi commercial. So do you guys remember when I told you that God took me back there when I was having the conversation with a family member? And God said that concerning California, some will die in the fire, some will die in the flood. That was concerning Michael Jackson and Whitney Houston. So, yeah. So when I saw that in my dream, and when I woke up, that's what it reminded me of when I first woke up. Okay, Michael Jackson getting burned in the head with the pyrotechnics. So I wondered if someone had done something to Whitney's head as well, along the lines of electromagnetic waves, brain control, or mind control. So that's another area of research that I ended up in after this dream. I've had to do a lot of research. These are the things that were coming to me when I woke up from the dream. Had someone tried to do something to her head, a procedure, someone's trying to mess with her brain or her mind. Okay, so as I was seeking the Lord for the interpretation of this dream, this is what God said to me. Okay, hold on a second. What time is it? Okay, I've been talking for a while now. Okay, so this is one of the first things God spoke to me. He said, light bill. Light bill. And I was like, what in the world? Now I'm seeking him about this dream, and he spoke light bill to me, and he didn't explain. So I pondered that for a while. I'm like, oh my God, God, what are you talking about? I wasn't in prayer. I was in the kitchen. Okay, so it's not like I was able to just get in prayer and, start asking questions. But, you can ask questions in the kitchen too. But I was doing other things. But I did hear him speak light bill. And he would speak things to me concerning the dream, random times. I wasn't always in prayer when he would speak to me concerning this dream, because this, seeking God about this dream was almost an everyday thing. And there were times when I would put it away and for days, because I was so tired and exhausted and just so overwhelmed, because it was like the information and the things that happened that involved surrounding Whitney's death, it's like it's never ending. It's unbelievable. It is unbelievable, the planning and the people that were involved with what happened to Whitney Houston. It was like almost like a operation, like a undercover operation of the takedown of Whitney Houston. Okay, so the interpretation and the revelation of light bill is explosive. The interpretation of the wall light with no light, and it was leaning off the wall, hanging by a loose screw. That interpretation is explosive. The interpretation and the coded information hidden in the title. Okay, let's talk about the title. Whitney Houston's Bed, Bath, and Beyond. The interpretation, the things God revealed to me even about the title, is very explosive. Okay, so I'm going to get into some of the interpretation. Okay, the first part of the dream, and I'm going to switch up pictures here. One second. Okay, you know what? Some of the light fixtures that I showed you guys, hold on, like this one, there are other things that I found that match that. That light fixture hanging on the wall if it has a light there, it's like a torch almost, a wall light. So this is from Whitney's album, One Moment in Time. That's a torch right there. That reminded me of the light fixture, the broken light fixture on the wall in the dream, except this one has the light. Okay, there's the pyrotechnics. I'm going to get back to the interpretation in a minute. Yeah, you see this here? This is a Grammy. This also reminds me of the broken wall light. This is the circle, and this is the square. This would have been the light, and this is the base. Okay? I hope you guys can hear me. I have some noise going on in the background. So this is one of the Grammys. And there is a satanic ritual involving circles. See, that's a circle, and squares. And that is, I'm going to show you how that matches up with the broken wall light, with other things, and with that Grammy right there. It matches up with how a Grammy appears. Here's another one. You see this? This is a Grammy. Here's the base. It's square. Here's the top. It's a circle. Okay? There is something involving satanic rituals that uses squares and circles. Okay? Because in my research, let me see if I can find that. One moment. Okay, here we go. In my research, this is what I found when I went and researched Whitney Houston's room. This is the outside of the room. Now, I think this appeared to be here after she passed. I don't know if it was like this prior to her passing. I was shocked when I discovered this round light, wall light, outside of Whitney's room when I did research. This is round. It has screws. But in my dream, it was square like this with no light. And I've repeated this so much, maybe you guys know what that's about. It's about your lights being cut off. And I'm talking about someone's life being cut off. Okay, so what I'm looking for is not in that particular picture. But yeah, that has something to do with a ritual. This is the outside of the room. There is the light, wall light, the round circle. Okay, that's one picture. Okay, so first I'm going to get into the interpretation. And I did say I want to pull up another picture. One moment. Okay. Let's pull up this picture of Whitney. This picture, you see the two lights? Well, it could be one light, and that's another word for a light is ray. That's one ray of light. That's a second ray of light. I don't know if I have it in my notes. Do y'all see the arms stretched out? No conspiracy theories. This is not conspiracy. These are things God revealed to me. You see her arms stretched out? That's sacrifice. The arms slightly down, almost like the wings of an airplane, almost like the broken arm symbols that they use for the cross, like the broken cross when like they use for the peace symbols. There are some other people before they pass, they have their pictures with their arms like this. Michael Jackson was one of them, and there's one other person I'm not going to mention. This is her body is showing sacrifice with the position of the arms, okay, with the arms out like that. This is a ray of light. This is a ray of light, okay? So I'm going to leave that there for now. Okay, so in the interpretation, with the first part of the dream, I needed to know, before I could share the dream with you all, why I saw Whitney in a hospital bed, and I'm going to explain that. I needed to know who was this mystery woman that Bobby Brown was talking to. I saw Whitney Houston in a hospital bed because, okay, I'm going to get into this. I saw Whitney Houston in a hospital bed because Whitney was made to look sick in both life and death. That's what the Lord told me. Whitney Houston, hello, here's a news flash. Whitney Houston was being drugged. Period. Aside from the times of her own admitted drug use. Do you hear me? I am not saying Whitney Houston never used drugs on her own. Whitney Houston was being drugged. And that's aside from the times of her own admitted drug use. Other than that, she was being drugged. The times that she tried to break free and clean, they were drugging her. And was it her fault that she got introduced and turned on to drugs as a teenager? Was that her fault? But I'm not making excuses, but that's what we were told. That's how it's been reported. So here's someone that was introduced to drugs. She developed a drug habit. Okay, she's on tour. Family members have admitted to giving her drugs or whatever. When a person is trying to get clean and break free from that, listen to me carefully. And a person, let's say, gets treatment. They're trying to clean themselves up. If she constantly, or if that person constantly has people in their circle, in their life, that are doing drugs openly in front of her and giving them to her and handing her drugs, that is also that person being drugged. Y'all don't have to agree. And a recovering addict is not strong enough to be in an environment like that. Whitney Houston would have had to totally be out of an environment of traveling and doing tours and touring engagements and having handlers and an entourage and whoever it was that was supplying the drugs. You cannot leave a recovering addict or someone who's trying to break free from that. You cannot keep them in that same environment. So when God says Whitney Houston was being drugged, she was being drugged in that sense. She was weak, she was struggling, she was being offered drugs, she was being given drugs, but she was also drugged because someone was drugging her against her will. There was times she did drugs on her own. Yes, she told us about that. Okay? She admitted that. But aside from that, Whitney Houston was being drugged. Okay, I gotta keep it moving. Okay, no conspiracy theories. On the Diane Sawyer interview, she said, this is what Whitney said. She said, don't pray about the drugs, or something to that effect. She said, don't pray about the drugs, pray that I do the right thing. Who says don't pray about the drugs? Why would she say don't pray about the drugs? What was she trying to say that she could not say? Who says don't pray about the drugs? Could it be because she was being drugged? Could it be that she was being drugged and she said, don't pray about the drugs, pray that I do the right thing, because when somebody is drugging you, you have no control over what is being done to you. You don't even know what you're doing, depending on what type of drugs you're drugged on, depending on how much you're out of it. She said, pray that I do the right thing. That's the Diane Sawyer interview. So, back to why I saw Whitney Houston in my dream laying in a hospital bed. In life, Whitney was also being made sick. Okay? They were slowly killing her. Whitney was being given mind-altering drugs and pills to keep her off balance and under control. Okay? Whitney was purposely being given things to destroy her health and her voice. And you can blame that on Ursula. Okay? I'm going to pause right there. I want to see if I can pull up some more pictures. Yep. She was being given stuff to destroy her health and her voice. Okay? Yep. One moment. Let's see here. Where am I? I think I'm going to click through some pictures periodically. Look at that. Look at that. Okay. There's no telling what all was truly being done to harm her under the guise of treatments that were supposed to help her. Okay? Making like they trying to get her well. In death, Whitney was made to look sick. This is what God told me. Whitney was also being made to look sick in death. In a BET special, which I did not see the special, and I'm referring to the Bobby Brown story, a biopic. I haven't seen any documentaries, any specials, any of the things that they have been producing about Whitney. I don't have time to watch those things. That was not a part of my research. When God began to speak this to me and reveal it to me, I said, I'm going with what God is showing me and speaking to me. I don't have time to look at any documentaries and biopics. Okay, so I didn't see any of that stuff. Whatever went on in the Bobby Brown biopic concerning the lies, I did hear that there were lies that were told about Whitney in that biopic. I did hear that. So whatever went on in the Bobby Brown biopic concerning the lies that caused Whitney to be portrayed as a sick individual, Bobby Brown, listen to me, Bobby Brown, if that's what he did, he was just obeying orders. Hello? Okay, some orders are given directly and some orders are passed down through a chain of command. In my dream, the mystery woman whom Bobby Brown was speaking with, she had something to do with why Whitney Houston was made out to be sick, to be a sick person in Bobby Brown's biopic and the BET special. This is the reason, hold on a second. This is Whitney being drugged. I'm saying it. Okay? And I need to find a different picture. So this is the reason why I saw them both standing in the same room with Whitney. Okay, so here we go. This is the reason I saw Bobby Brown and the mystery woman standing in that hospital room with Whitney Houston while she was in that hospital bed. A hospital bed is a sick bed. So I'm trying to explain to y'all that she was being made to look sick in life. Things were being done to her, given to her against her will. Look at Whitney. In her death, in that Bobby Brown biopic, she was made to appear to be the one with all the problems. She was made to look out to be the sick one. Look at this picture here. Can y'all see this of Whitney's legs? This, I can't even get into all of this stuff. This is the blood that some of you have heard about that were on her legs the night she went to that club. There are lies that were told about this. Oh, she got knocked into something when she was arguing with some woman over Ray J. That's a lie. God told me that scene that went down, that was staged concerning that. Whatever word she had with somebody, it was staged. That scene was staged. Here are the blood marks. Here's something I didn't have time to research. This right here reminds me of Michael. I do believe when Michael Jackson passed away and they did his autopsy report or whatever they do, I do believe that they had reported they had found needle marks in Michael Jackson's legs as well. Okay? Okay, so I'm going to leave this folder. Bear with me. Okay. Okay. So, whatever lies were told about Whitney Houston and Bobby Brown's biopic, he was following orders. And he said to the mystery woman, "When I die, I can see your music rising." Whose music is going to be rising? I was trying to figure out who in the world, before God revealed it to me, could Bobby Brown have been talking to. I started asking people questions. Who was it? Was it his wife? Does his wife sing? Wait a minute, his wife doesn't sing. I knew that when Bobby Brown said in my dream to the woman, "When I die, I can see your music rising," I felt he was talking to someone who was a singer, someone who sang, okay? So whose music is going to be rising? According to Bobby in my dream, the mystery woman's music is going to be rising when Bobby Brown dies. We got to find out who that mystery woman was that Bobby said that to. Bobby Brown, I want to say to you, make peace with your God. Okay? Bobby Brown said this because Bobby Brown said the riddle. I told y'all the riddle. He said that riddle because he had already heard and seen this same mystery woman's music rising when a few other people had previously died. Think about it. Think about it. This same mystery woman's music would rise when a few other people had previously died. Selah. Y'all should know by now. Some of y'all should have figured out the riddle by now. Bobby Brown is being controlled, okay? I also believe that someone has been assigned to his life. Now, this is someone other than that mystery woman in my dream. I believe that someone has been assigned to Bobby Brown's life to keep him under control. Pray for his soul, okay? As I said, Bobby Brown is being controlled, which brings me back to the mystery woman that Bobby Brown was talking to in my dream. Okay, one more thing I want to say about the woman I believe that has been assigned to his life to keep Bobby under control. She's a mole, M-O-L-E. I believe she is a mole, almost like someone doing a covert undercover CIA operation. Okay, these people come in, they're like handlers, and they have to reach an expected end with the people that they are assigned to. With the people that they are assigned to handle. Okay, so the mystery woman that Bobby Brown was talking to, now this is another mystery woman I'm talking about. I'm not talking about the one that I believe was assigned to his life. Okay, I can imagine for people who are not paying attention and who don't comprehend what they're hearing, they're going to make all kind of crazy comments on my videos about things I did not say. It's still a decision that I have to make as to whether or not I am going to leave the comment sections open for this video, or should I shut it down. I will have someone that is going to help manage the comments and monitor the comments. right away. Some of the stuff I know is going to be taken down immediately. Some of you may as well save your keystrokes. It's not going to do you no good. You're not going to stop me anyway from speaking what thus saith the Lord and what he revealed to me through dreams and visions and the interpretation that I received from him. So you may as well save your keystrokes, because the ones of you who think you're going to be low down and nasty and tell me all kind of stupid stuff, your comments are going to be deleted before you can leave the keyboard. Okay? So I will leave the comment section open if I choose to, and if I choose not to, I will shut it down. Okay? And I happen to know that the enemy would he prefers for me to shut it down, because he doesn't want any information coming forth from the viewers who may know that what I'm talking about is true. There's some people out there who know what I'm saying in this video, in this message. There's some people who know that this is truth. And the enemy will try to curse and leave curses and say all kind of sick stuff to try to make me close down my comment section, because they don't want the people who know that this is true to give credence to it, to support it, to put their comment up. Okay? And I don't need affirmations. I don't need confirmations. But if you guys have something that you want to say, something you experienced, something you know along the lines of what I'm telling y'all about in this video, you're welcome to leave a message while the comment section is open. Okay? But I'm not seeking confirmation. I'm not seeking affirmation. I know what God has called me to do. I know that I have a ministry of exposure. I know that I know the voice of God. I operate in the realm of dreams and visions. Okay? All right. So, the mystery woman that Bobby Brown was talking to in my dream, when he said, when I die, I can see your music rising. So here we go. Time for the big reveal. Okay? Time for the big reveal. Now, I wonder what picture I should pull up. Let's pull this one up again. Can y'all see that? Okay. When I die, I can see your music rising. Meaning of the riddle. When I die, I can see your music rising. What's rising? What's rising? Oh, I forgot something before I tell y'all what's rising. Back to the woman that I said I believe is a sign to Bobby Brown's life. I believe that part of what I'm getting ready to tell y'all in the beginning kind of applies to her as well. When I die, I can see your music rising, because I took music and I interpreted also as worship. Okay? Music is what? Music is worship. So if I put worship there, I'm saying when I die, I can see your worship rising. So the other woman that I believe that is a sign to Bobby Brown's life, I believe that because of who she worships and who she's what she's really about, I believe that if something happened to Bobby Brown, I believe that her music would be rising. I believe her worship, although she may not be a singer, if something happened to Bobby Brown as far as this other woman is concerned, I feel like her worship might be rising. But aside from her, let's get to the mystery woman in my dream. And I am not talking and speaking death on Bobby Brown. This is what God gave me and put in my spirit. Okay? I hope nothing happens to him. I pray nothing happens to him. Pray for his soul. I like Bobby Brown. Before I got saved, I was a little part-time fan of Bobby Brown. I mean, I didn't get all crazy, but I liked his music, in the years before I got saved. I like him. God loves Bobby Brown. Okay? That it is what it is. God is sending these warnings. Bobby Brown, make peace with your God. Okay? Meaning of riddle. So when I die, I can see your music rising. What's rising? I'm going to tell y'all what's rising. A halo. A halo is what's rising. Okay, that equals when I die, I can see your, it means when I die, I'm going to give y'all an interpretation. When I die, I can see your sick music. I can see your sick music rising. Meaning, I can see your halo. When I die, I can see you singing. Bobby Brown is saying, when I die, I can see you singing your music. I can see you singing your sick music. I can see your halo. That is the meaning of the riddle. When I die, I can see you singing. I can see your halo. God made it known to me that God made it known to me that Bobby Brown, in my dream, I'm telling y'all my dream, Bobby Brown was speaking to the mystery woman, and the mystery woman that I'm getting tied tongue from talking. The mystery woman, I know y'all already figured out the riddle by now. Okay? The mystery woman that Bobby Brown was speaking to in my dream was Beyonce. Okay? Beyonce. Bobby Brown, make peace with your God. Halo and hollow, as in hologram, is halo, because halo can also be pronounced hollow. So there's halo and then there's hollow, as in hologram. There is a hologram, and I also thought I saw in my research a word that said halogram somewhere. I didn't look it up to see what it was. Okay. So, we're going to get into the interpretation of the second part of the dream. And I'm telling y'all, I was like, what in the world? What is Beyonce doing in my dream? I'm not a fan. I don't know anything about Beyonce. I don't know anything about those people. I was in church, okay? God brought this to me. This started, some of this type exposures and things God was showing started coming to me in 2018, but this dream again came to me in 2019, this particular dream, and I didn't ask God for this, okay? I know nothing about these people, okay? So I'm going to get into the interpretation of the second part of the dream. About the length of this video, y'all, this is really, I have never done a video this long and never wanted to do a video this long, and I hope I never have to do another video this long. I really should break this up. Okay, I really should. I've seen people when I've been on YouTube have videos that were 2, 3, and I think I've seen some that was even 4 hours long. And I just said, I just can't do it, you know. But I'm serious. I don't want to have to come back and do a part 2. So there will be people who will watch it. They will watch it a little bit at a time. There will be people who won't watch it, you know. So guess who I'm obeying, though? Guess who I am. Guess who I have to answer to? God. Okay, so we're going to get into the second part of this dream interpretation. Within this part of the interpretation, I'm going to investigate the crime scene through a dream. Let's get to light bill, something God spoke to me, because I don't think I went into that part about the light bill, okay? Light bill, broken wall light. That can be called the utility company, the light bill. The light bill is, where do you pay your light bill? You pay your light bill to a utility company. Okay? That's where you pay your light bill. And the people that work there for the light company, when things happen, and all of that, and disasters and outages, they are called the light crew. Okay? The light crew comes out and fixes things. Remember in my dream when I was looking up at the broken light fixture that was hanging off the wall by a loose screw. Remember when I told you guys I was looking up at that. So that is light. That's one of the things where God spoke about to me concerning light bill. Okay. The light crew, where you pay your light bill. And there's a lot more that means. I'm going to try to get into it as well. So here's another picture here. This is the base up there of that. Here's the light hanging. Okay, in my dream again, there was no light. Okay. There was no light right there. Okay, let me see if I can find another picture, guys. I know, I'm sorry, I'm all over the place. Okay. Okay, there's a square base. Where am I? Okay, also when I was working on this dream and I started seeking God, I don't know if y'all can see, that's a light bulb. Square base. I knew that I was going to have some light bulb moments, and I've had quite a few while working on this dream. Okay, so the light crew. Let's talk about the light crew. The light crew, God revealed to me, is also, and I'm going to explain this. The light crew, as far as my dream and what happened to Whitney, is called the goat crew. Okay, they're called the goat crew or the ghost crew. Okay, that's what it's called. Okay, one moment. And the goat crew, this light was not here. This also represents a person. When that light was taken off, it was dark. It represents a person also, which was Whitney Houston, which meant that her lights were cut off, which means her life was cut short. Okay, so this symbol means more than one thing. Okay, and I'm going to try to get in that. Just keep in mind, this part right here was not there, only the square base. So I'm going to leave that like that for a moment. Okay, so light fixture. You've heard me use the word light fixture. You heard me tell you guys that Whitney was being drugged. Okay, what that means is when Whitney was drugged, light fixture is symbolic of light mixture. Some of y'all might follow me. Some of y'all say, this girl crazy. The light fixture symbolizes light mixture. A light mixture of something. Okay? Like a cocktail of drugs. A light mixture. Being that I am working with the word light mixture, it was no light though. So take no light, say no light mixture, meaning Whitney was given no light mixture. The mixture of drugs she was giving was not a light mixture. It was a very heavy mixture that she was given. I'm going somewhere with this. It was no light mixture. No light mixture. It was a heavy dose, a very heavy, because she was overdosed. Okay, so the light, being that there was no light there, that means, that could also mean, and the lights were out, that could mean unconscious also. Okay, she was in a state of unconsciousness, and that would have been, if you're being drugged to that point, you're in a state of unconsciousness, even, right before you pass away. Okay, so the base of the wall light, let's talk about that. Revelation of that. The square piece right here that I saw hanging off the wall. The base of the light was square gold, leaning off the wall. I told you all about the cleaning was going on in that area and changing. Also, the term off the wall, I keep saying it was hanging off the wall. Off the wall also refers to a person who's off the wall, a crazy person. Michael Jackson made a video or a song called Off the Wall, or an album, something like that, about off the wall. Okay? Off the wall could be a crazy person. Well, a loose screw could also be a crazy person too, isn't it? And y'all have heard me repeatedly use these terms. A crazy person doing this, a crazy person handling Whitney, or something crazy happening to her. She was left in the hands of a crazy person. Okay. So the person sitting in the chair, that person has Neiman Marcus in that first chair. That person right by the light fixture that they were sitting by where I was standing. That person has, as I said, a Neiman Marcus encoded into their name. And that person is also represented by an eye, the symbol of an eye, which is an Illuminati goat. Okay, so I whispered when I saw the base hanging off the wall, they need to fix that. This brings me to what God gave me concerning the handlers and the fixers. There were handlers surrounding Whitney and what happened concerning her death, and there were also fixers. Okay? All right. So we know that handlers, they, handle the celebrity. Fixers, as I learned from watching a little bit of Scandal, and I couldn't stand that show. I didn't look at it until just before it got taken off air. I checked out a few of them. So the people in Scandal, that TV series, they would go in, and of course they worked for the White House. So when the government employees got in a jam and did stuff illegal and involved in all kinds of stuff, killings and murders, they had the people come in that were the fixers and clean up the scene and set the scene up to make it look the way they wanted it to look. So surrounding Whitney's death, there were handlers and there were fixers. Okay, so in the dream now, I'm looking up at the base of this wall light right here. So I have pictures to show you guys where Michael has a video, Billie Jean. He's also looking up toward the light, the same way I was looking up toward this light right here in my dream. Okay, so up where the light crew, he was looking up where the light crew might be if they were filming on a commercial or a video or a movie. I was looking up toward this where the missing light was. This is the wall light fixture. Okay, and this information I'm sharing about this right here, this could also represent a floor lamp. A light and a lamp is the same thing. It could have been a floor lamp, which is tall. And I'm going to tell you why I think the floor lamp, this could also represent a floor lamp that was being used for something in Whitney Houston's room. Okay? But this is part of the dream and the interpretation, this base right here. Okay. So Michael was looking up in his music video, Billie Jean. Y'all can go check that out. He was leaning on a light pole, and I have pictures of that. I don't know if I'm going to be able to get to it. And he was looking up toward where the light crew, the people that work on the set, might be. Okay, remember that's... Well, anyway, I'm going to skip that. Yeah, let me go pull that picture up. I think I know where to find that particular picture. I'm going to show that to y'all. And one moment. Okay, let me go out here. Okay, now, first, I'm going to show y'all this. Told you I'm going to show y'all Michael. Let me show y'all this. You see Whitney? Can y'all see that? This right here should be what's called a power box or a breaker box. I'm not sure, but that's what it looks like. It does have a lock right there. Her head is leaning on it. Okay? I'm going to show you how she's looking up. The same way Michael leaned on that street lamp and was looking up in Billie Jean, Whitney is looking up toward the ceiling or the light. Her head is on a breaker box. In my dream, I was looking up also at the base of the broken wall light hanging on the wall. I was looking up toward the light also. Okay? So, excuse me, I think I'm going to get me a sip of something, some water. Okay, so Whitney was looking up towards the light, breaker box or a power box. Okay. What were they trying to tell us? Okay. I'm going to come back. I'm going to pause this for a brief second and take a sip of water. What was Whitney and Michael trying to tell us when they were looking up the same way I did in my dream? Here we go. Here's Michael. You know why I say what were they trying to tell us? Because the Lord revealed to me, look at him looking up. He's leaning on a street lamp. That's still a light. The Lord revealed to me that Michael Jackson's music, some of his music and his music videos were prophetic of his death and Whitney Houston's death. And I really have to go through that and break that down because, wow, I can hear the religious mind wheels turning. Michael Jackson's music and his videos were prophetic of his death and Whitney Houston's death. Okay? And I'm going to pause this for a second and be right back. Okay, this is Dale C. Washington. I'm back from a pause. Okay, so I stopped at, I'm sorry, let me pull up a picture. One moment. So I stopped at what was Michael Jackson and Whitney Houston trying to tell us in their videos. Remember, this is a breaker box or a power box. And I didn't research that. I would be very surprised if I'm wrong. But that is exactly what it appears to be. Okay? That's Michael leaning on a lamp. A light, street lamp. Okay. All right, so in the video, Whitney's head is leaning on that box, and this is what God revealed to me. And all this stuff God gave me is like, God, this is just too much information. It's just too much. Trust me, I really have considered just not telling y'all all of this and just telling y'all a few facts, a few things God revealed to me, a few truths, and because this is so long and tedious and just not going through all of this, but I'm going way out to share all of this. This has been, this particular message has been my life since September of 2019. God revealed to me what you're looking at here, the symbolic meaning of this, that the powers that be, the people, and there were several people who didn't want Whitney Houston to any longer continue to be here. The powers that be, the industry, secret organizations, they wanted to break Whitney's mind. Her head is on that breaker box. They wanted to break her mind. They wanted to break her will. It also means that they were hit, Michael and Whitney, it means that they were hit in the head by, guess what? The light goat. The light goat. The eye goat. Who is the light goat and the eye goat? That's the Illuminati goat. Light bill means, God spoke light bill to me. Light bill means they got light sick also. They were both made sick while they were living with the drugs they were being given. I'm not talking about what Whitney admitted to on her own in her earlier days. In the last years of Whitney's life, I don't know what year it was, Whitney was talking about the Lord. She was talking about her love for God. Whitney was trying to live for God. Whitney was talking about her sobriety. But guess what? They wouldn't let Whitney be Whitney. Whitney couldn't be Whitney around those people, around those handlers in that world. Okay? Maybe, and you can say, oh, well, why didn't she do this? Why didn't she just walk away? Maybe she was under contract. For a lot of these people, the only way out of those contracts is through death. Okay? So you got to know what you're talking about. You got to know what's happening. I don't know any of this stuff on my own. I wasn't involved in any of this and interested in this type of stuff. These are the things that God brought to me. Okay? So they also got light sick. They were taken out. They were killed by the light. Their heads. Something happened to their heads. And I'm going to explain that. Something happened to her head. Something happened to Michael's head. The broken wall light, the broken light fixture, meaning in with no light, darkness. Okay, her lights were cut off. Her life was cut short. Okay, all right. Which means that a hit was put on their life by the Illuminati goat. Whitney's death was a hit. Y'all know that I'm telling the truth. Michael Jackson's death, oh well. Come on. And we know why. Okay? So they sent out the light bill crew. That's what I call it. They sent out, because God spoke light bill to me. And light bill means some other things too, the interpretation of light bill. So they sent out the light bill crew, which is the Illuminati goat crew, which is the same as also the ghost crew, which is the same as the handlers and the fixers. If y'all go, and I don't know if I'm going to have time to pull up all these pictures I got. If y'all go pull up Michael Jackson's Billie Jean video, Michael Jackson, I told y'all his music, God told me his music was prophetic. There are clues and messages all throughout Billie Jean about Whitney Houston's death. Okay? He was trying to portray in his dance moves some of the things I'm telling y'all about. The ghost crew. If I don't have time to pull those up and show y'all what I'm talking about, I'm going to come back and do a separate video of that, because I am exhausted talking. Okay, so, alright. So, there are some who do the dirty work. That goes back to the handlers and the fixers that I keep telling y'all about, that were put and assigned in these people's lives. Then there are others who show up to fix up, clean up, I think I said that, and set up the scene, and then they disappear. That's the GOAT crew. If you study, if you know what you're looking at in Billie Jean, Michael Jackson is demonstrating someone who was there, but someone who disappeared. Oh, I know what I'm talking about. I know God gave this to me because I don't have the mind to go back and be led to go to Michael Jackson's Billie Jean video to see what God is speaking through Michael Jackson's music video that ties to what happened to him, Whitney, and the dreams and the visions that he's giving. And he's trying to expose, and he's trying to send messages to his people that he knows, and he saw what happened. He sees it all. Okay? God spoke to me. He said that God said he is going to vindicate the death of his servants. God cares. I know a lot of y'all are religious and have religious minds, and you don't understand and you don't believe God would give me this information or have me share this with the people of God on social media. But I'm not going to try to convince you. I'm just going to continue to share. And I'm going to continue to get through this message, okay? So there are people who come set up the scene, the fixers, and then they disappear. That is called the GOAT crew. That's what Michael Jackson video was trying to show us. Michael Jackson was trying to warn people about the GOAT. I'm going to prove this to y'all. He was trying to warn people about the GOAT and the Ghost crew. Hold on, let me see if I can find that picture. Okay, here we go. Okay, so this is him looking up toward the light, like Whitney was, like I did in my dream. Watch. What is this right here? I guarantee you some people have no clue what this picture means. God gave this to me. God spoke this to me. This is the GOAT. He is using his body to prophesy about the GOAT. You see him standing up on his toes? I don't know if I wrote that down. That is goat's feet, hinds feet. How the goats are up on their hinds feet. Hoofs. Those are hoofs. See his hands up like that? I hope y'all can see this. That is the symbol of the GOAT. Michael Jackson was not down with the GOAT. He was prophetic. He was sending messages and warnings through his dance and his music about that industry. Look at this. Does that not look like the same position? Almost, except for the front legs here that Michael was in. Look at the horns up there. I'm going to go back. Look at his hands up there. This may not be that clear. Look at his hands. Hinds feet. Look at the GOAT. His dance moves depict the GOAT. Hinds feet, hoofs. Okay, go check out the video. Okay. Hold on. I got something. See that? Goat's feet. Can y'all see that? That's the GOAT standing up on those hind legs. That's what Michael Jackson's dance move depicted. Oh, wow. I don't even have time to get to what God revealed to me, the symbols and the dance moves that were in Michael Jackson's video. Oh, wow. God already let me know, how people are when it comes to this type knowledge, this type revelation. But it came from him. It didn't come from me. Okay, my stomach is growling. I hope y'all can't hear my stomach growling through the microphone. Okay, so I'm going to go back to the part. Let me see if I can find Whitney's picture about being hit in the head. Okay? Do y'all know there's more than one way to be hit in the head? You can be hit in the head physically by someone or something. Okay? A broken wall light, I think I covered this, could also mean a lamp. You can be hit in the head with a light, a lamp. I seriously had wondered at one point in this dream if Whitney Houston was hit in the head with a tall floor lamp. But this dream goes much deeper than that. Her autopsy report shows bruises, abrasions, and some kind of mark on her head, and all sorts of horrible stuff. I can't, you guys know about all of that who have been following what happened with her. So there's more than one way to be hit, that you can be hit in the head. You can be hit in the head by or with electromagnetic shock waves, mind control, MK Ultra techniques. That is also a hit in the head. You can be hit in the head by drugs. There's a drug called Diprovan. Okay, do you guys know what Diprovan is? This is the information that God gave me. Diprovan is another name for Propofol. Okay? Propofol. General anesthesia hits you in the head or the brain. Okay? Let me go back and find another picture. Wow, where is she going with this? Where is she going with this? Let me pull this up. Shortly. Okay, I saw Whitney Houston in a hospital bed. I know I explained that. Okay. And I talked about her being made to look sick. Okay, one moment. Okay, my focus is a little bit off with all of these pictures that I have saved, but wow. Okay, let's see here. Okay, I know where I'm going. Hold on one moment. One moment. Okay. Okay, here we go. What I should do, well, I don't really want to do that. See that? That is an IV flu cart. Hold on a minute. Diprovan. This is the same thing as Propofol. Let's keep that there for a moment. Okay, so general anesthesia hits you in the head or the brain. To be hit in the head can be described as being knocked out. That's what anesthesia does. General anesthesia, if I'm correct, knocks you out. Okay? In other words, it knocks you unconscious, right? Because that's what they use in the hospitals when you have to undergo certain procedures. Okay? Remember the beginning of my dream when I said I was thinking when I didn't know what everything meant was a makeshift clinic or hospital room or something set up in Whitney Houston's room where they were doing something to her, where they were messing with her head, where they were performing some sort of a procedure on her from my dream, okay? So in other words, Propofol, Diprovan, same thing, it knocks you unconscious, okay? That's a hit in the head. There's more than one way to be hit in the head. Okay, let me see what other picture I have here. I'm not going to be able to read all of this. This is some awesome. I may have to come back and do a breakdown of what I found out about Propofol, Diprovan. Okay? This is hanging. This is Propofol, hanging. Michael Jackson. Can y'all see that? Propofol. Let's leave that there for a minute. God told me early on in this message, He began to show me that Whitney Houston's death and Michael Jackson's death was similar. When He first began to speak that to me, I didn't know in what ways. I did not know in what ways that their deaths were similar. Okay, according to what God, Yahweh, revealed to me, Whitney was drugged, overdosed on an anesthetic, the same as Michael Jackson. And the people responsible are walking around free, still trying to make a fortune off of her name. Okay. So, light bill, I'm skipping around, means Illuminati Billy Goat. That's involved. Okay, there are quite a few Billy Goats that had part in the demise of Whitney Houston. I'm going to get into some of the lies. I feel like there's something else. I may have to come back. See, that's different. I may have to come back and got milk and do this. I've also had strange things going on about showing me milk leaking. Wow, I don't even know if I'm going to get into that. The loose screw in my dream hanging from a wall light. I know y'all don't know what I'm talking about, but hold on. If I can find pictures, I can give you a visual. See this? And so there's something that's screwed in to the bottom of one of those bags. This bottle here. The loose screw in my dream would have been when this piece got attached. I know y'all think I'm crazy. When that piece got attached to the bottom of this IV flu thingy, and the screw being loose, hanging off a wall light or a tall light, could have been a floor lamp, a makeshift flu cart set up with something hanging on a light stand or the floor lamp in the room, or could have been hanging off of something on the wall, hanging by a loose screw. This is hanging kind of loose. The attachment, the bottom piece, could have been loose, causing the Diprovan or the Propofol or the milk to leak. God showed me this. See that? God showed me this. See this? However they attached, I don't know where that piece goes. A nurse would know. See what else I got here. Okay. So maybe the bottle is injected up here. Would have been a loose screw. And I do know that God let me know that whatever they had hooked up, the way they had it, there was a leak. Remember earlier I told you that there was in that area where I saw the wall light, broken wall light, there was a lot of cleaning going on in that area. That's because there was a leak of whatever mixture that they had given her. Yes, I know the autopsy report listed the drugs that were in her system, but guess what? I'm gonna blow y'all mind. You remember the base? This right here, the propofol was the base of what was given to Whitney. Yeah, all the other drugs that were in her body with the cocktail, with the mixture, was reported on. I don't know why propofol was not reported. I'm speaking from the Spirit of the Lord. I don't know why propofol was not in the report. This is just information I pulled offline about that drug. Propofol. Okay? I don't know why this wasn't in the report. I don't know if they couldn't find it in her system. I don't know if it was a cover-up and they listed all the other drugs, but This is the interpretation of the other meaning and symbolic of the base. This was the main, base meaning the foundation, base meaning the first. This is what caused the demise of Whitney Elizabeth Houston. Propofol. Okay. I'm going to discuss the lies that were told about Whitney Houston. Everybody talking about Whitney Houston overdose. She did not overdose. She was overdosed. She was OD'd. She did not overdose of her own demise. Whitney was trying to live for God, but they wouldn't let Whitney be herself. They got some kind of a film out or documentary talking about Whitney saying, "Can I be me?" It wasn't the me y'all painted her out to be. Talking about, can I be me? The me that Whitney Houston wanted to be was a woman of God. She tried to tell the world that in her Diane Sawyer interview. She said she wanted her daughter to be a woman of God. Whitney Houston wasn't trying to stay in the entertainment business. A lot of lies. And God is exposing every last one of them. I don't know what picture I'm looking for now. Okay, I'm going to find the picture in a minute. Let's see, where am I? Okay, I know where I'm going to go. Let's get away from looking at all of that. Let's go back to beautiful Whitney Houston. Let's look at some pictures of this angel. I'm going to click through some pictures for a moment. Okay. I'm going to let that one stay there for a moment. There's a lot of lies being told about Whitney. Lies about who she really was. And there's even more lies being told about her death. Whitney's death is the biggest cover-up ever. Okay. All right. Bear with me one moment. Okay, I had to hit pause for a moment, but I'm back. I was showing you guys some pictures of beautiful Whitney Houston. I think I stopped here. Okay. Okay. So as I was saying, Whitney's death is the biggest cover-up ever. Michael Jackson's death was a big cover-up as well. Conrad Murray, wow, he would have been the scapegoat. Okay? He was the scapegoat, but he did what he did. But I'm saying there was something else going on behind why he did what he did. I don't believe that was an accident. Okay? So back to the lies. Let's get into some of these lies being told about Whitney Houston. So if you ever want to really know who someone is, ask God. Okay? If you want to know who I am, ask God. Okay? Whatever Whitney did or did not do concerning her past, because there's a lot of lies out about her, what she did in her past. But whatever Whitney did or she didn't do concerning her past, Whitney Houston is presently in the presence of Almighty God. Before Whitney left this earth, she made her peace with God, and she's now with God. How do I know this? I'm so glad that you asked. I was in prayer one day as I realized that this was an assignment and a dream and a vision I had to seek God for. And when God began to speak to me and open up the meaning of what He was showing me, it was so heavy on my heart. I couldn't stand it. So my heart was really heavy one day because of all the things the Lord was showing me concerning Whitney Houston's death. And another thing I want to add to y'all, prior to this assignment, I would never look at Whitney Houston's pictures when I went on YouTube or social media, because my heart would break every time I saw a picture of her. I would scroll past her pictures. If there was a video about Whitney, I wasn't looking at it because I wasn't trying to see anything about her, because I couldn't take the sight of seeing her picture, because every time I saw her picture, I could feel a loss. My heart was breaking. I could feel almost like a wound. I could feel that something was seriously wrong. Something needed to be made right concerning her death. Okay, so I went in prayer one day feeling very heavy and like grieving over the things God was showing me about her death. And also because I had to begin to look at the pictures, because now this was my assignment. So I began to look at some of the pictures, and I had to research, and I began to grieve as if she had just died. So I went to the Lord in prayer, because I just felt like I couldn't bear it anymore. As soon as I knelt down before the Lord, I immediately heard him say, he said to me like this, he said, it is well. He said, it is well. To live is Christ. To die is gain. The Lord said this to me concerning Whitney Houston. The Lord was trying to comfort me, because I didn't want to have to know these things. I didn't want to have to look at the pictures. I didn't want to have to, God to have to reveal to me the inner workings of behind the scenes and the things involved in the takedown and the early demise of her lights being cut off, her life being cut short. He said, it is well. So I say to all of you who have been just really involved in just, some of you guys have been praying for justice for Whitney and others. She's not the only one. Okay? Some of you have been praying and crying out for justice. And God wants you to know that he got this. He sees. He's saying to you as he said to me. He said, it is well. It is well. Because some people are like, this is like a thing they're really looking into all the time. They're really, really just very consumed with the whole Whitney Houston thing and others. I wasn't consumed with it, but it was consuming me when I had the dream, and this is what God was revealing to me and wanting me to release. He says to you, it is well. It is well. To live is Christ. To die is gain. In other words, to be absent from the body is to be present with the Lord. I know that Whitney is in the presence of the Lord, because the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob told me so. Whitney, and I heard even today as I was preparing for this video, I heard it spoken loud and clear in my spirit. Whitney is alive and well in heaven. Religious fanatics, religious folks, say what you want to. You can't convince me otherwise of what God is speaking and revealing and showing me. Okay? You cannot convince me otherwise. Because you don't have these experiences with God, that's your problem. That's not my fault. You know, maybe everyone was not called to operate in this manner, but there are others out there who were called to operate and to be able to, through dreams and visions, and to be able to have mysteries revealed to them, the things that God chooses. Not the things we want to know, that we ask for, but what God chooses. How he chooses to use his vessels and his instruments, his people. Again, I didn't ask for this. Okay. All right. So for all the religious folk out there, just, if you can't take it, don't watch it. If you don't believe it, you don't have to watch it. You don't have to engage. Okay? Whitney is alive and well in heaven. There's a lot more I want to say right there. I did a message a while ago right after Billy Graham passed. I had a similar experience when he passed, the grieving. I didn't know this man. I wasn't following his ministry. And I actually did uploaded a video, and the message is still on my Facebook ministry page in my notes section, but I took the video down because when I went back through my message, I saw where I felt like I made an error in something I was trying to explain, and I think I explained a part of it the wrong way. And God gave me a message when Billy Graham passed, and God spoke. He said, I heard him say, "Good morning, Billy." By the time I uploaded that message and went on YouTube, I saw people all over YouTube saying he was in hell. He was this, he was that, he was all of these horrible things. And I was in shock. I was like, oh my God, look what they're saying about Billy Graham. But did I know Billy Graham? No, I did not know Billy Graham. Did God know Billy Graham? Yes, God knew Billy Graham. Whatever he did, God knew. Did he repent before he left here? If he was guilty of some of the things y'all said, he must have got his life straight before he left here. And I'm not saying that he did what y'all accusing him of doing. I don't know what all he did. I only know the message that God gave me to share. I heard God say, "Good morning, Billy," and that was the title of the message. There are a few other people I haven't had a chance to share that have passed away. I think one other person in particular, when he passed, I actually did share something, but I didn't tell you what it was about. The video that I have on YouTube that says, "We're not going down like that." And I talked about, I made the statement, they're chopping our black men down because they won't bow down to the clown. God spoke that to me. God spoke that to me right after, let me try to get his name straight, right after Nipsey Hussle was killed. I didn't know Nipsey Hussle. I don't know nothing about Nipsey Hussle. I had never heard of Nipsey Hussle. But if you go look that video up, God spoke that to me concerning right after Nipsey Hussle was killed. And that message speaks volumes concerning other people who are being killed. And I always wonder, well, why did God say they're chopping our black men down? Because I believe there are other men of other nationalities. I believe there might be some white people too that are getting chopped down because they won't bow down to the clown. But I titled that, and I put in that video the way God worded it. Look, God knows what he's doing. I may not understand everything he tells me to do, but guess what? I know his voice. Okay. Yeah, I hope this is still recording. Okay, so where am I? All right. About Whitney. I'm going to tell y'all a little bit about Whitney. Let me see if I can find another picture, because this is what's slowing me down, trying to show y'all all these pictures about Whitney. This beautiful princess. God loves his people. God loves his daughters. God loves his sons. I don't care what color you are, what nationality you are. And I'm glad I touched on that part about Billy Graham, because people were trying to, someone tried to accuse me of being racist in a video when I called Ron Carpenter out. Please. I don't care what color you are. If God tell me to expose you, and God tells me, gives me a warning and a message to expose you, I'm going to expose you. This has nothing to do with color. Okay, so what am I looking for here? Okay. I got some more pictures of Whitney that I wanted to show. Hold on a second. I just don't know what folder I put them in. Let me see here. Other, it should have been in this folder here. And I don't see my pictures. Bear with me. Yes, right about now I'm seriously thinking about doing a part 2. This is like, wow. This is so much information here. Yeah, I don't see the other picture. This is so much information. Let's take a look at that one. About Whitney, a servant. And I mean a servant of God. First of all, Whitney Elizabeth Houston was a servant of the Most High God. In other words, I'm sorry, I'm reading my notes wrong. Let me get that again. Whitney Elizabeth Houston was a servant of the Most High God. And in the words of Whitney herself, let's get that straight. Okay? That's what Whitney would say. Let's get that straight. Now, I can hear the religious wheels of the religious minds turning. Yes, God told me to do this message. God told me to do this video. He told me to share this. Okay? God told me this. He gave it to me. Alright? God, again, said He is going to vindicate the death of His servants. Let's get this straight. Also, Whitney Elizabeth Houston did not live a gay lifestyle. Lie from the pit of hell. Whitney loved God and Bobby Brown. Okay? Let's get that straight. Let me see if I can go find the pictures of, and I have no idea what folder. Okay, here's one. And I think I only had a few pictures of Whitney and Bobby. Whitney loved God and Bobby Brown. Anybody who produces, or anybody who might think of producing or manifesting some sick pictures of Whitney Houston engaging in anything contrary to who Whitney Houston was as her natural self. Anybody produce any sick looking pictures, I don't care whether they doctored or whatever, if you produce anything of Whitney portraying her to be anything contrary to who God told me she was, or anything contrary to who Whitney Houston was as her natural self, then I would have to ask the question, who drugged her and what did they drug her with? Because I already know that her state of consciousness was being played with and manipulated by a very powerful and dangerous drug, which I already discussed with you guys. That would be Diprovan or Propofol. Okay? Somebody was playing with Whitney's state of consciousness. Do you know how sick that is? Michael Jackson's state of consciousness was being played with anytime a doctor puts you to sleep with Propofol and then says he fell asleep and that person ends up dead. Okay? Whitney, wow, some of the same stuff was going on with Whitney. The Lord said so. I'm going to share a scripture, Matthew 20. When I say call Whitney a servant, when I say she was a servant of God, because God said she was a servant, let's take a look at Matthew 20, the hiring of the servants. Verse 1 is telling you that there was a kingdom of heaven. Okay, there was a man that was a householder which went out early in the morning, and he went out to hire laborers in his vineyard. Okay, and when he went out the third hour, he saw people standing around in the marketplace, and he said unto them, go into the vineyard, and whatsoever is right I will pay you. So this man went out and began to hire laborers. Okay, hold on a minute, I'm going to switch up here with my pictures. Y'all please have patience with me. This is a very, very difficult assignment. Okay. Okay, and that's not the folder I wanted. Okay, so verse 5. Again, he went out about the 6th and the 9th hour, and he did the same thing. He hired people that were standing around idle. About the 11th hour, he went out and found others standing idle, and he said to them, why are you standing here idle? And they said, because no one has hired us. So the Lord of the vineyard also gave them a job as well. He told them to go into the vineyard and that he would pay to them whatsoever was right. Okay? So, verse 8, so when the evening was come, the Lord of the vineyard said unto his servant, unto his steward, call the laborers and give them their hire, give them their pay, beginning from the last unto the first. Now, and I'm reading this for those of you who are still with me. I don't know how many people have left me with this, but for those of you who are still with me, this is about, this does show and tell who Whitney is. This is the scripture that God gave me, the hiring of the laborers, the workers in the vineyard, okay? Okay, so they paid them beginning from the last until the first. And when they came, they were hired about, verse 9. And when they came that were hired about the 11th hour, they received every man a penny. But when the first came, they supposed that they should have received more. And they likewise received every man a penny. And when they had received it, they murmured against the goodman of the house, because they thought that they should get more, okay? Because they were out there first. They were out there all those hours, the first guys that got out there, the first group of people out there in that burning sun all day, they thinking they're supposed to get more. Okay, verse 12. Verse 11. So when they received their pay, they murmured against the goodman of the house. Again, y'all, if I'm repeating myself, please forgive me. Verse 12. They murmured, saying, these last have wrought but 1 hour, and you have made them equal unto us, which have borne the burden and the heat of the day. Okay, how does that apply to Whitney Houston and also others that come into the vineyard? For some of y'all may say they came in at the last minute. They came in at the last hour. So there are going to be some people who come in at the last hour. There are going to be some people who come in at the last minute. What's it to you? If God pays them, gives them the same salvation you got, what is it to you if they come in and they begin to work in the vineyard in the last hour of their life, in the last year of their life? What is it to you if they come in and begin to work in the vineyard in the last month of their life, in the last week of their life? Okay? What is it to you if you've been saved for 30 years and 20 years and 10 years and somebody turns their life over to the Lord at the last minute, or the last part of their life, or the last few days of their life? What is it to you? Okay? You're gonna the first and the last is gonna receive the same reward. That's what you agreed upon. You agreed to be saved. So you've been saved for 30 years and you don't think the person that God knocks on the door of somebody's heart and they receive him, you don't think that they should receive the same reward that you receive. And I believe Whitney Houston, from my research, Whitney Houston was working in the vineyard before she left here. But y'all don't hear that being reported about her. Y'all hear all the lies that was being reported about Whitney Houston. Do your research. There are people who are telling the testimony of Whitney Houston. She was trying to tell the world herself, okay, who she really was. But the world would not let Whitney be Whitney. The powers that be would not let Whitney Houston be the person that God called her to be. And I'm not blaming every single thing that she went through in the entertainment field on someone else, because there was a part in the beginning where I believe there were things she participated in. But guess what? And I think I have it in my notes, but guess what? Whitney changed her mind. And there's some of y'all out there listening that y'all involved in some stuff. Y'all better change, or y'all need to change y'all's mind. Because Whitney made it in. Whitney made her peace with God before she left this earth. Okay? So y'all are hearing all the lies in the media about Whitney being in love with some woman. Please. That's a lie from the pit of hell. But y'all have taken it and snowballed it. And y'all have ran with that lie. And y'all have built upon that lie. I don't have time for this. God is tired of it. Trying to promote y'all gay agenda and y'all LGBTQ RSTUV X Y lie Z. Lies. The powers that be, the people that are the higher ups and the elite and whoever, these people in Hollywood that run Hollywood and entertainment, trying to promote y'all agenda, trying to promote this gay agenda. Well, Whitney is not a part of it. I'm squashing that lie. God is squashing that lie. God told me to set it straight. She did not live a gay lifestyle. And if she did, and I'm going to put it like this, and if there was anything along the lines that she did at one time in her life, if she ever did do that, then Whitney still turned to God and got her life straight. She still made her peace. And I don't believe she did it. But I'm saying, even if she did, what's important? She got it straight. She got her life right with God. God is the one that is showing me and telling y'all right now through this message who Whitney Houston really was as her natural self. Who knows what somebody might do if you pumping them up with drugs? Look, let me move on. And I'm talking about when she was being drugged. But again, I don't think she went there from being drugged. I think Whitney there was a lot of things that was being done. Time for me to change my picture. There was a lot of things that were being done to Whitney. God let me know that. There were a lot of abuses that were being done to Whitney. There were times when y'all saw Whitney in public smiling and the girl was trying to stay alive. Y'all don't think that Whitney Houston was trying to also stay alive for her daughter, who is also no longer with us? But y'all believe everything that these people release, all the lies about who Whitney really was. And y'all, I promise you, I have pictures that go with probably almost everything I'm saying, and I don't have time. I knew the video was going to be long, and I didn't know how long, and I didn't know it was going to be this long. But I believe I'm almost done. Okay? Let's take a look at something here. Y'all, I want to sing a part of a song so bad. But I think my voice sounds terrible from talking this long. I want to sing this. What's love got to do with it? What's love got to do with it? What's love but a second-hand emotion? What's love got to do with it? I forgot the next line. What's love got to do with this right here? Can y'all see that? Nothing. No copyright infringement intended for the part of that song, okay, that I just sang. Whitney Houston was a gift that God sent into the world. A beautiful gift with a beautiful voice, a strong and a powerful voice. But the goats of the world set out to destroy her and her voice. They conspired together to destroy her. In the year of 2012, February 9 through 11, the goats were running the show. Whitney became worth more dead than alive to them. This is what the Lord spoke to me concerning Whitney's current status at the time among the goats. She was worth more dead than alive. Now, aside from the goats and the handlers and the fixers and the people that were around that worked toward the same goal of Whitney's demise, there's also somebody that's higher up. There's someone, and look, one person did not pull this off that happened to Whitney, but there's somebody else behind the scenes, okay? When God was taking me through this, there's like, wow, how is it possible that more than one person wanted this beautiful person dead? More than one person. But there's somebody behind the scenes. There's some secret people behind the scenes, okay, of this. So these people, they made money off of Whitney's gift while she was here, and they're still making money off of her now that she's gone. Bed, Bath, and Beyond. Remember the title. Goats, they hate gifts, okay? Remember that. They try to destroy them. Okay? Here's what the light bill goat and the ghost crew are sent out to do. Remember, I called them the light bill goat crew, but they're also called the ghost crew. I mentioned that earlier. Here's what they are sent out to do. Number one, they are sent out to cut your lights off or out. Talking about the life of the person. Unlike your utility light companies who come out and turn lights back on if there was a problem or an outage, they come and cut the lights out. They come and take the person out. Okay, number two, they sing about seeing your halo. Number three, they give you a wax figure tour. Number four, they give you a hologram tour or a hologram tour or a halogram tour. Okay? Number five, they I got that one already. I don't know why I repeated that. Number 6, they take control of your estate. Number 7, I think I'm at. I might have misnumbered. They do what they want to with your music, because you're worth more to them dead than alive. Okay? All right. Let's see what other pictures I got on here. Okay. Here's a picture with Nick in it, if I can find it. I don't know who this young man is. This picture of Nick right here, I hope y'all can see that. Nick Gordon, the recent death of Nick Gordon, the OD, that they said he OD'd. Nick Gordon was the weak link. He was the weak link. Okay? Now I'm going to move on to the part that says Whitney knew secrets. It was being reported in these documentaries. Check that out. It was being reported that Whitney had a secret, talking about her secret being that she was molested by a cousin, a female cousin. I don't know if that's true, but that's not the secret that Whitney had. Okay? Like I said, I don't know if that's true, but I can tell you, I don't even need to say whether or not I believe it or not. That doesn't even matter at this point, whether I believe that or not. I mentioned a few minutes ago the wax figure tour. Okay? Look at this. How sick is that? They want to, wow, that's sick. They want to take somebody's lights out and then give you a wax figure tour and a hologram tour, because they're going to continue to make money off of your hologram. I guess the wax figure tour didn't bring in enough revenue. My God, I don't even like looking at this. Can y'all see that? Look at this. My God. Look at this. I think this is supposed to be how one of the holograms look. People that truly love Whitney don't want to see this mess. This is terrible. Look at this. Wow. Let me go back and find another picture. I'm still here. Can y'all see that? Okay. Okay. All right, guys. I'm going to leave it there for a minute. Whitney knew secrets, but it's not the secrets that's being reported. Whitney Houston's name, y'all, let's take a look at Whitney Houston's name. Talking about unraveling naughty sentences, talking about dream interpretation, talking about coded messages in dreams and visions, codes in people's names, the things that the Spirit of the Lord has been revealing through these things. Whitney Houston's name. And I don't have time to teach y'all the details about this. Why is the words White House encoded in Whitney Houston's name, along with the word hit, H-I-T, hit? And also encoded in Whitney's name is New York Townhouse. Why is that? This is an Ebony magazine cover here with Whitney and her pregnancy. I think this would have been Bobby Christina. And up here it was saying some things, a title, then it said Mother to Be on that cover right there. So, why am I seeing these things encoded in Whitney Houston's name? And there are a lot of y'all don't know what codes are, about this type of dream interpretation. And interpretation of dreams comes from the Lord. Okay, I told y'all in the beginning of the video that dream interpretation, there is a skill set that God teaches His people that comes with dream interpretation. God teaches a skill set also. He will speak dream interpretation to you, and He will show you things through a learned skill that He teaches you. Nobody better not, well, you can, but if you do, you're going to get deleted. Don't come on here telling me nothing about what do they call this stuff? Trying to make like I'm getting my information from, what do they call that thing that I heard of? Not, wow, I can't think of the name of it. Anyway, whatever that other stuff, gematria, whatever. Gematria something, gematria codes. I don't know anything about gematria codes. I don't know nothing about numerology. Okay? And I think I'm going to make a separate video. What I get comes from the Lord, the Spirit of the Lord, God, Yahweh. So Whitney wasn't just murdered because of her fortune and her music catalog. Remember, I said that, music catalog. She wasn't just murdered about that. Whitney knew things that some people in very high places did not want to get out. Special operatives, along with handlers, were assigned to her life to watch and control her. Their job was to keep her high and keep her sick. Operatives were assigned to Whitney's life to bring about an expected end, which was to completely destroy her. The plan for Whitney to OD, the plan was for Whitney to OD a long time ago. I believe they had planned for Whitney and Bobby Brown to OD a long time ago, but God would not allow it to be so. When she didn't OD on her own, they drugged her and set it up to look as if she OD'd on her own. I mentioned the thing about Michael Jackson's legs. I think they had needle marks in them just like Whitney's in that picture, when she was out with that blood on her legs at that nightclub that night before she passed. Whitney was being drugged, just like Michael Jackson. Do you guys remember watching any footage from Dave Chappelle? When he told about how he wanted to leave the entertainment industry and he wanted to get away and he was done. He didn't care about the money. He walked away from a multi-million-dollar deal, and he told on one of his interviews how people would follow him around and follow you around all the time, trying to get you to take pills and pop pills and offering you drugs. What if you're doing that to a recovering addict? What if you're doing that to someone who has already been introduced to drugs and somebody that is weak? You're drugging them because they're too weak. You can't do that to a recovering addict. You can't do that to a recovering drug addict. And I explained the two different scenarios earlier about how Whitney was being drugged. Whitney Houston was dying right in front of our eyes, the Lord said. Right in front of the world's eyes. And when I say right in front of the world's eyes, I'm talking about the people who were watching all of this play out, who were tuned into it, her career and fans of her. Everybody believed that Whitney was coming out looking like this because she was getting high. She was still on drugs. Whitney was being drugged. God said Whitney Houston was dying right in front of our eyes, right in front of the world's eyes. Whitney Houston was slowly being murdered right in front of our eyes. God says, like a cow, Whitney was led to the slaughter. God said that He is going to avenge the deaths of His servants. Whitney Houston was a child of the Most High King, and she was His servant. With all they did to her, with all the torture and the abuse afflicted upon her, with all they took from her and stole from her, they even tried to take her mind, but they could never take the light of God out of Whitney. That's what God said. With everything they stole and they took from her, they could not take the light of God out of her. They tried to break her mind. They tried to break open her music mind box. Her head leaning on the light box, the power box in that video. They tried to break open her music mind box and get her worship. But her worship, Whitney's worship, was only unto God, because God was in her mind and in her heart. So they tried to get God out of her mind, but God was locked. Remember that box she was leaning on? Go and look at that video and I Want to Dance with Somebody. Remember that box she was leaning on, that locked box? Okay? They tried to get God out of her mind, but God was locked. God was locked up in the mind of Whitney Houston. Do y'all know that some of the songs that Whitney Houston was singing, she was singing to the Lord? Do y'all even know that? When Whitney sang, "You're all the man that I need," Whitney Houston was singing to the Lord. Now, I don't know where I got, I think I know where I got that picture. Hold on a second. Of course, when Whitney sang, "I Look to You," we know that Whitney Houston, and I believe that was released in 2009. We know that Whitney Houston was singing to the Lord. And I know she sang other gospel songs, but there's some other secular songs that come under the category of secular music that she was singing. And she was singing to the Lord. God was in her heart. He was in her mind. God told me these things. I'm not making this up. This is her head leaning on that box with the lock on it. But they tried to break open her music mind box. Okay? All right, but they couldn't take God out of her mind. And yes, they cut her light out. They cut her light and her life off. But they could never cut the light and the life. Not only they couldn't take the light of God out of her, they couldn't take God out of her. They could not take the life, L-I-F-E, of God out of Whitney. Whitney Houston told the GOAT. Oh my goodness, can I find this? Can I find this picture? Y'all hold on a second, because I'm going to end this in a minute. I really am. Hold on a second. I'm going to show you something. Yeah, let's just go through some stuff. There are a lot of symbols in Whitney's death that were, in her music video that were satanic symbols. That circle. Remember I told y'all there's rituals with the circle and the square? Okay, I'm going to get back to where I was. Here's this grid back here. Y'all, I don't even think I can get to telling y'all about this grid. You know, the grid connects back to an electric grid. It says enter. I don't even think I can get to that today. Hold on a second. Where was I? Okay. This guy right here. Okay. Wow. See here? See these squares? There's also squares in Billie Jean. Billie Jean music video of Michael's and Whitney's I Want to Dance. Those two videos have similar meanings and messages in them. And I don't have time to go through it. I may have to come back. But I'm going to touch on this. Here's the squares. Michael Jackson danced spinning around in a circle in squares in his Billie Jean music video. Whitney, in her video, does a lot of spinning around in circular motions. And I told y'all there is a satanic ritual that involves squares and circles. What's the squares and circles? The squares and circles in the satanic dance, ritual dance, and it means more than a dance though. I don't have time to go into it. But it's the spinning around in a circular motion while you're on top of a square. Okay, remember the wall light, the original wall light when it's not broken? When the person is still alive, it has that square base, and then it has the light there, the light bulb attached at the top. But in Whitney's room, in her hotel room in my dream, the square was there, but the top part of the light was gone. So let me try to get to where I'm going with this right here. Whitney Houston told the GOAT, hell no, okay, a long time ago. Whitney Houston told the GOAT, hell to the no, a long time ago. I know y'all saying, where's she going now? You see this here? See these little white feet here? Remember what I showed y'all about Michael Jackson's feet? The GOAT hinds feet. These are goat's feet. That's the symbolic message. These are goat's feet Whitney Houston is dancing with in her music video. Check it out. Check out those goat's feet. And what are they? Little white feet. Sneakers. I'm going to get into this. Sneakers. And I'm looking like, well, why they got strings? And then I say, oh, those are sneakers with strings. And Whitney Houston is dancing. These footprints, these sneaker prints, white little hoofs represent goat's feet. Whitney told the GOAT, hell to the no, long time ago. God told me Whitney Houston did not want to dance with the GOAT. She's saying, I want to dance with somebody. She said, I want to dance with somebody who loves me. She wasn't talking about the GOAT. She was talking about the Lord. Okay, but the GOAT, I know this sound crazy, y'all, but the GOAT feet was dancing with Whitney. The ritual, satanic stuff that they put in that world and in these videos, they wanted Whitney. They wanted her music. They wanted her worship. They wanted her, but she didn't want them. Whitney had God in her heart and in her mind. And she said, I want to dance with somebody who loves me. Oh, I want to dance with somebody. I want to feel, if my voice wasn't so weak, I would try to sing it. She said, I want to feel the heat with somebody. I'm getting a little bit of a head. I want to feel the heat. Did you see where they put her body in boiling water, scalding water? Oh, well, you won't dance with the GOAT. You won't marry the GOAT. You won't sell your soul to the GOAT. You won't do that. You won't commit. You won't give your life to the GOAT. Then her lights was cut off. You want to dance with somebody that loves you. You want to feel the heat with somebody who loves you. She served God. And she didn't belong to them because they sacrificed her. And they put her in heat, in that hot water. And God has been showing me how that with these people, his people, that these things are happening to, and a few of them are in entertainment. He got some people trapped in Egypt, y'all, and he's showing me that these strange deaths, because and the black men being chopped down, and women are being chopped down and sacrificed as well, because God got some people who will not bow to the GOAT. They will not sell their soul to the GOAT. And they want out. But some of them may be under a contract. Some of them may have unknowingly signed a blood contract. I really don't know if they know what they signed. And so for some of these people, the only way out is through death. But wow, I'm going to tell y'all something. Wow, I'll be getting ahead, and I don't know if I have it written. When they did what they did to Whitney Houston, God told me He met her. The torture she endured, and I don't even know how much torture she really endured. Her body showed like signs of torture. I don't even know if she was conscious to feel all of that. But whatever they did to her to cut off her lights and to cut her off her light of her life, God said, I met her. He met her. Okay? So she didn't want to be a part of this Illuminati eye goat ritual. She didn't want to dance with them. Dancing means something else in these songs. In Michael Jackson's song and Whitney's song, and I'm going to have to come back. I can't get into all of it. So the Diane Sawyer interview, Whitney said, I changed my mind. Diane Sawyer said, well, people said, well, you look so bad because she had lost so much weight. And Diane Sawyer said, and people were saying that Whitney was dead. Whitney said, I was dead. She said, but I changed my mind. Listen to what she said in that interview. She said a lot of things. She was trying to say some things in a certain way, but she couldn't come out and say certain things. And y'all who have watched the footage of these videos where she was being interviewed, y'all know that there was things that she was saying, but there was things she couldn't say. All right? She said, Whitney said, I was dead, but I changed my mind. I did not want to look like the rest of them. That's what she said. She said, I did not want to be like the rest of them. Check out that music video, but you won't know all the messages and codes in it unless you have a trained eye for it, okay? Whitney Houston did not want to dance with the devil, okay? Whitney did not want to dance with the goat. All right. Those, as I said, are goat's feet with strings attached. Those are sneakers with strings. And you want to know why? You want to know why that the goat here has these being portrayed with sneakers, these goat's feet with strings? Okay, that's because that the goat, the Illuminati eye goat, is tied to the sneaker industry. There were your strings coming at. The Illuminati goat, the goat, is tied to the sneaker industry. There's a lot I can tell y'all about that, but I can't right now. Okay? Also, represented the goat, these hoofs are represented by sneakers because the goat is sneaky. He's very sneaky. Okay, I'm going to skip. Wow. I want to mention this before I cut this off. Holograms. This hologram tour is the devil's handiwork. It is not of God. Look at this picture here. Look at those little feet right there. Those are goat's feet. Someone told me these are the satanic colors in these squares right here. Look at, that's the goat standing there. Goat's feet. And you don't see a person here, do you? That tells you, that also represents ghost. G-H-O-S-T. That's the goat and the ghost. And I'll try to come back and break that down more for you also in Michael Jackson's video. So the holograms, that is satanic. That's Satan's work. That's the devil's handiwork. It's not of God. And I don't have time to get into that and tell y'all why. Some of y'all already know why. Whitney was on a pathway. Okay? When they showed Whitney Houston out at that nightclub that night, Whitney Houston, let me see if I can find the pictures. Are y'all still with me? Okay. I'm going to go back to these pictures. Okay, can y'all see that? See that? See that? That reminds me of a funeral procession. Look at that. Everybody dressed in black. A funeral procession. That should have been maybe the night of the 9th, I think. Okay? So Ursula made sure that Whitney Houston was on the same path that Michael Jackson was on. Okay? And with the paid assistance of the GOAT crew, that path led to their expected end for her. Whitney, that expected end that was planned for Whitney was for Whitney, just like Michael, to OD on propofol and final death. Okay? Ursula took Whitney's voice. I don't know if y'all understand me. You know, things were being done to damage Whitney's health. Okay? Did I mention Jack and Jill? I don't think so. I know y'all saying, what in the world? Let me find the picture. Let me find the picture. One moment. I am really getting ready to wrap this up. Now I'm... Okay. Okay, here we go. It's Michael and Whitney. This is how God broke it down to me. Jack and Jill went up the Hollywood Hills to fetch a pail of water. Jack fell down and broke his crown. He broke his head. Okay? In a sense. His head was burnt first with the pyrotechnics in the Pepsi commercial. And then his head was hit with an overdose of propofol. Jack and Jill went up the hill, up the Hollywood Hills to fetch a pail of water. Jack fell down and broke his crown. Okay? And Jill came tumbling after. This is Jill. Jack and Jill symbolizes Whitney and Michael. Not only did they both go up to Hollywood Hills, and they both went up to Beverly Hills, but they both went to Capitol Hill. Okay? Another thing God mentioned about the death of Whitney Houston, I will probably come back. God said that all blues are clues. All blues are clues. Okay? The blue brush that was left on the side of the bathtub. I had another dream that had mystery man, but I know who he is, taking a bath in a wooden bathtub, like in the westerns, and the tub had a blue rim around it. Okay, and it was a tub like in the old western days, in the old western movies. And remember, the hotel that Whitney Houston died at was that hotel was called the Western White House. So all blues are clues. Blue brush, the blue rim around the western bathtub in another dream. Blue ivy is also a clue. And blue ivy is a plant, and it is also a flower. I think I'm going to come back and cover this. The Blues Brothers is also clues concerning Whitney's death. And guess what? Whitney Houston also had a cat, I found out through research. She had a cat named Blue. I'm going to have to come back and expound on this. All blues are clues. Okay? All blues are clues. I'm going to have to come back, and I'm going to have to tell y'all about Beauty and the Beast. Okay? I'm going to have to tell y'all about the goat man, the eye goat, and the beast, and he has musical prophets. I just mentioned Beauty and the Beast. I'm gonna have to come back and tell y'all about the beast. The beast has musical prophets. Okay, let's see here. Wow, I'm about at the end. Okay, y'all. I want to do one more thing. I want y'all to know, y'all dealing with Beauty and the Beast, okay? And I'm not talking about Whitney Houston. In the Billie Jean video, Michael Jackson sang, and he sang and said something about, hold on, I think I have it here. He said she was more like a beauty queen from a movie scene. Well, that was Whitney. Whitney was like that beauty queen. But there's another Beauty and the Beast that I'm going to try to come back and tell y'all some things about. Okay?